Welcome to the Dinar Daily. A significant story is reportedly developing at this very moment, centered on the financial mechanisms within Iraq. Deep inside the Central Bank of Iraq, a process described by officials as the final phase of activation is underway. This phase involves the intensive testing, verification, and synchronization of critical financial systems. This activity is not being presented as routine maintenance but as a culminating step in a long-running procedure. For many years, both international investors and economic observers have closely monitored the progress of Iraq's financial reforms. This specific moment has been the subject of intense focus, as it is seen as holding the potential to fundamentally redefine Iraq's entire financial landscape and, consequently, the global perception of its national currency, the Iraqi dinar. We are here to look closely at the details emerging from these reports. Over the next few minutes, we will delve into what is reportedly happening behind the public headlines. We will examine the nature of a mysterious 48-hour countdown that has captured the attention of the global financial community. This broadcast will also explore how these events in Iraq are being connected to another currency, the Vietnamese dong, and what the reported implications could be for global markets, international trade, and ordinary individuals who may be holding either the Iraqi dinar, IQD, or the Vietnamese dong, VND. This is not a speculative analysis. Rather, it is a detailed look at the signs, signals, and quiet procedural moves that suggest a massive, long-planned operation is finally in motion. We invite you to stay with us as we unpack a story that is being described as potentially transformative. To fully grasp the gravity of what is reportedly occurring right now, it is essential to take a brief step back and look at the historical context. For the better part of 2 decades, Iraq has been engaged in the monumental task of rebuilding its entire financial system from the ground up. Following extended periods of conflict, international sanctions, and deep-seated instability, the nation's economy has been on a slow but steady trajectory toward modernization. The ultimate goal has been to re-establish a stable, transparent, and globally integrated financial infrastructure. This process has been methodical, complex, and fraught with challenges. Yet it has continued to move forward piece by piece, leading to the situation that is being reported today. The Central Bank of Iraq, commonly known as the CBI, has been at the very heart of this transformation. For years, the institution has dedicated its resources to testing and implementing new digital platforms. A significant part of this effort involved linking Iraq's banking system to the international SWIFT network, a critical step for global financial communication. Furthermore, the CBI has been progressively introducing new, modern banking systems. The explicit purpose behind these comprehensive upgrades has been to make all financial transactions within the country transparent, traceable, and, most importantly, fully connected to the global economy. Each of these steps was a necessary prerequisite for the events unfolding now. This extensive groundwork, made down over many years, is now being described as the foundation for what is happening at this very moment. The current activity is being framed as a coordinated synchronization event that could mark the official start of Iraq's long-awaited and widely discussed currency reform. However, according to sources cited in reports, this time is different. It is purportedly no longer in the realm of theory or strategic planning. The reports claim that the Central Bank of Iraq's internal systems are now fully aligned. Furthermore, it's being stated that rates have been confirmed across all necessary platforms, setting the stage for what comes next. What is happening over this current 48-hour period is being described as the final validation phase before a full activation. To put this in simple terms, the reports are using a powerful metaphor. The rocket is built, it has been fueled, and it is now standing on the launch pad. This imagery is meant to convey a state of complete readiness, where all preliminary work is finished and the operation is merely awaiting the final green light. This sense of immediacy and completion is what separates the current news from the many updates that have come in previous years, suggesting a shift from preparation to execution. So, what exactly is this 48-hour countdown that has become the focus of so much discussion? According to multiple indicators and reports, this specific window of time represents the final technical verification phase before Iraq's potential currency rate adjustment goes live. This is the critical period where every single connected system, whether it is domestic within Iraq, regional in the Middle East, or international across the globe, must confirm that all data is in perfect alignment. This includes the rate data itself, the digital communication channels, and the liquidity channels, all of which must be in perfect sync for the system to function. To illustrate this process, imagine the detailed preparations for launching a spacecraft. Long after all the hardware has been individually tested and declared ready, engineers must run through a highly detailed final checklist. They must ensure that every single system, sensor, and communication line is green-lit before initiating the liftoff sequence. This is reportedly what is happening right now within the financial network. Banking systems are being meticulously cross-checked. International nodes are being pinged for final validation. And digital rate feeds are being quietly prepared for their eventual transmission across the global financial networks. If this final validation phase proceeds smoothly, and all systems are confirmed to be in sync, the next logical step, as described in these reports, would be the live activation. This is the precise moment when the updated rate would officially appear across global trading screens and financial data terminals. This would be the point where theory becomes reality, and Iraq's long-discussed economic transformation would officially begin. It represents the transition from a closed, preparatory phase to a public, operational one. The anticipation surrounding this moment is high because it marks the culmination of all the technical and procedural work that has been happening behind the scenes. The reason this specific 48-hour period is generating such intense excitement and nervous anticipation is that it is not happening in isolation. According to reports, over the past few weeks, several other key signs have aligned perfectly with this timeline. For instance, Iraq's new fiscal budget was officially locked and finalized, providing a stable economic framework. Furthermore, international banking delegations reportedly visited Baghdad for a series of high-level, closed-door meetings. Concurrently, multiple sources have confirmed that domestic banks within Iraq were quietly instructed to prepare their internal systems for significant updates, suggesting a coordinated top-down directive. When these types of signals, the finalized budget, high-level international meetings, and internal bank preparations all happen within the same narrow time frame, they point toward coordination rather than mere coincidence. Adding to this is another telling sign: the relative silence coming from official Iraqi media outlets. In Iraq, as observers have noted, when something of major significance is about to shift, the official media typically goes quiet. It is often described as the calm before the announcement. Right now, that same characteristic silence is reportedly echoing across the country. And for those who have followed this story for years, that silence is interpreted as speaking volumes. But let's explore this deeper. Why now? Why would Iraq choose this particular moment to move forward with its long-anticipated currency reform? The answer, according to analysts, lies in a combination of timing and readiness. Iraq's economy is now reportedly stronger than it has been in decades. Oil revenues, the lifeblood of the nation's economy, are flowing consistently. Foreign currency reserves have reached record highs, providing a substantial cushion. Perhaps most importantly, international organizations have quietly upgraded Iraq's financial compliance status, signaling that it meets modern, global standards for transparency and anti-money laundering. This economic strength is coupled with technical readiness. Iraq's new banking infrastructure is now described as being fully integrated with global financial systems. This includes modern digital payment rails and sophisticated foreign exchange platforms. This complete integration is a critical piece of the puzzle. It means that when the Central Bank of Iraq does make its move, the effects will not stay localized. They will, by design, ripple across regional and international markets almost instantly. The system is finally seen as modern enough to support a higher value currency and stable enough to sustain it. That combination makes this activation window seem, for the first time, not just believable but inevitable. One of the clearest indications of what is unfolding can reportedly be seen in Iraq's internal banking operations. Across the country, multiple banks have allegedly extended their working hours. In a more drastic move, some have even implemented temporary, coordinated ATM shutdowns, citing the need for technical maintenance. While this might sound routine in another context nationwide, synchronized actions like this in Iraq often signal preparation for a major, system-wide update. These are not isolated incidents but part of a larger, coordinated effort that is visible to the public, even if the full reasons are not officially stated. Furthermore, some bank branches have reportedly begun running low-denomination training simulations. This involves helping staff get ready to handle the new currency notes that were printed and distributed to bank vaults earlier this year. These are not random exercises. They are described as practical rehearsals for a nationwide rollout. The public, though not officially informed of a specific event, has also begun to notice small but meaningful changes. Financial education advertisements have started appearing on local television, teaching citizens how to identify the security features of the new notes and how to handle them safely. These quiet preparations indicate a coordinated national effort behind the scenes. Global coordination also appears to be happening at lightning speed. International settlement systems, which are necessary for cross-border transactions, have reportedly listed Iraq as fully compliant with all global standards. Foreign exchange terminals, the screens used by traders worldwide, have been updated to accept new data feeds from Iraq. Partner banks in neighboring regions and key financial hubs have been told to remain on high alert for system synchronization alerts from the CBI. These are not random, isolated updates. They are the final technical steps of a long and carefully planned operation. You can think of this as the world's financial grid realigning itself to welcome Iraq back into full participation. Major institutions like the International Monetary Fund, IMF, the World Bank, and various regional monetary authorities have all conducted a series of technical consultations with Iraq over the past few months. These consultations have reportedly focused heavily on ensuring digital compatibility and full transparency, which are non-negotiable requirements of the modern financial system. This is why analysts believe that when Iraq's rate activation happens, it will not just be a local change but a globally coordinated event affecting trading desks and cross-border settlements around the world. Let's talk about the specific stages that insiders believe are unfolding right at this moment. First comes the final rate confirmation. This is a technical step to ensure that every single internal and international system is prepared to display the exact same data at the same time, preventing arbitrage or confusion. Second, Iraq reportedly notifies its key global partners, such as the IMF and World Bank, that it is ready to move forward. Third, the rate feeds begin transmitting across the international network, a process that might start in the Middle East region and then gradually expand worldwide as financial markets open following the transmission. The fourth stage involves select banks gaining early access for live testing. This would likely involve small-scale, real-world transactions using the new value to ensure that everything functions smoothly from end to end. Finally, the fifth stage would be the public release, the moment when the new rate becomes visible to everyone and officially enters the market. Whether this entire process happens gradually over a few days or suddenly within a matter of hours remains unknown. However, experts cited in the report say that once this process starts, it is nearly impossible to stop, becoming self-sustaining, irreversible, and transparent. If this activation indeed occurs as described, it would mark one of the most significant economic milestones in Iraq's modern history. It would be a powerful signal that the country has fully transitioned from decades of financial isolation into a new position of stability, credibility, and influence on the regional stage. For the citizens of Iraq, it could mean stronger purchasing power and a renewed sense of trust in their own national currency. For international observers and investors who have followed this story, it could represent the very moment they have been anticipating for years. the culmination of a long and complex journey. But beyond the personal or national implications, this move has the potential to reshape regional economics. A revalued Iraqi currency could fundamentally shift trade balances across the entire Middle East. It could also attract a new wave of foreign investment into Iraq, as a stable currency is a key requirement for large-scale international projects. Furthermore, it might encourage other developing economies to follow similar paths of financial modernization, transparency, and global integration. In short, this is not just a financial story. It is a story about a nation reclaiming its economic sovereignty and rejoining the global community. The palpable excitement surrounding the Iraqi dinar has also, in turn, reignited interest in the Vietnamese dong. The dong is another currency that has long been rumored to be on the verge of a significant adjustment. While it is crucial to state that Vietnam's economy operates under entirely different conditions, geopolitical factors, and economic models than Iraq's, the two nations share one crucial similarity. Both have been undergoing rapid modernization and deep integration with the global financial network. This parallel journey is why they are often discussed together by international observers. The concept of a synchronized regional reform is not far-fetched. From a geopolitical perspective, it can be strategic. As Iraq potentially activates its new rate, policymakers in Vietnam could be observing the rollout with intense interest. They would be in a position to study how global markets respond, how the technical systems handle the transition, and how liquidity is managed in the immediate aftermath. The two countries have, in their own ways, quietly positioned themselves as rising economic players in their respective regions. So, when people talk about the QD and VND together, they are often discussing a broader movement aimed at aligning developing economies with modern standards. Still, with every major economic shift comes a degree of uncertainty. Historically, monetary reforms of this magnitude often bring a period of temporary instability. This is not necessarily because the systems fail, but simply because they must adapt. Once Iraq's rate activates, the first few hours or even days could see data fluctuations. Reports might show rate resets or even conflicting numbers across various trading screens and platforms. This does not mean the process isn't real. It simply means it is sensing. It is the natural result of a massive, complex global network updating itself. Think of it as pushing a critical software update to billions of devices at once. Thousands of independent systems, from small banks to major financial clearinghouses, all need to fetch, verify, and batch the same new data. During that synchronization phase, some confusion is normal and even expected. However, as the synchronization completes, clarity emerges, and the new data becomes stable and consistent across the board. This is why experts are urging calm and patience during these critical moments. If the process is truly underway, everything will align naturally once the systems stabilize. The key is to stay informed, not reactive. One of the most fascinating aspects of this particular story is how quietly it is reportedly unfolding. Unlike in past years, which were often filled with exaggerated claims and false alarms, this moment is described as feeling different because it is rooted in visible, tangible action. The evidence is not coming from anonymous rumors on the internet. Instead, it is coming from the observable system updates, official monetary policy reforms that have already been implemented, and the coordinated involvement of major international financial institutions. This is a very different class of evidence. When ATMs go offline across an entire nation for simultaneous upgrades, when domestic banks uniformly extend their hours, and when official financial education ads appear on national television, that is concrete preparation, not gossip. Those who have been watching this situation closely for years understand that this level of coordinated activity does not happen by chance. It is viewed as the result of years of meticulous planning finally reaching its final checkpoint. The tone across Iraq's financial sector is reportedly not one of speculation, but one of execution. Now, let's discuss the potential outcomes should these reports prove accurate. If Iraq successfully activates its new currency rate within this reported 48-hour window, the immediate impact could be profound. confidence in Iraq's economy would likely surge both domestically and internationally. International investors who have been waiting on the sidelines might finally re-engage, bringing in new capital. Local citizens would, for the first time, see the tangible results of the years of difficult reforms they have endured. Banking systems would transition into a state of full transparency, and international trade settlements could become smoother and faster. The global market would likely experience some minor, short-term volatility as traders and algorithms adjust their positions to the new reality. However, the overall sentiment would likely be one of optimism, as a stable, integrated Iraq is beneficial for global economic stability. This move could also inspire neighboring nations to accelerate their own financial modernization efforts, knowing that Iraq has successfully crossed the line from preparation to implementation. In essence, Iraq's success could redefine what is possible for developing economies worldwide that are seeking to rebuild and rejoin the global financial system. For those individuals who may be holding either IQD or VND, this moment carries a significant emotional weight. Many have waited years and in some cases even decades for tangible progress. They have watched countless reports, tracked incremental updates, and endured numerous delays and false starts. But what is said to separate this specific moment from all the others in the past is the reported transparency of the actions. The evidence is visible, the systems are online, the world's financial networks are reportedly synchronized. This is being presented not just as hope, but as preparation turning into execution. There's also a deeply human side to this story, one that goes far beyond the numbers on a trading screen. For millions of Iraqi citizens, a stable, strong, and respected currency is not just an economic upgrade. It is a powerful symbol of national pride and a sign of restored trust in their own institutions. A revalued dinar would represent the country's recovery from years of unimaginable hardship and its reemergence as a legitimate competitive force in global trade. For citizens who have endured hyperinflation and profound economic uncertainty, this moment could finally bring relief and a renewed sense of confidence in their future. Still, patience remains a crucial element. Even if activation occurs exactly as described, experts emphasize that true, lasting transformation takes time. It is not just about flipping a switch, it is about what comes after. Iraq's next great challenge will be to maintain that stability, to carefully manage liquidity, and to ensure that the economic growth that follows is both sustainable and inclusive. But the foundation is described as strong. With robust compliance systems, growing reserves, and rising investor confidence, Iraq is seen as being better positioned than ever to navigate the post-activation phase successfully. So, what happens next? This 48-hour period is being described by some as the point of no return. If everything aligns, Iraq's new rate could become visible across international trading systems, marking the start of a new chapter in the country's long economic journey. It is a defining moment, one that symbolizes resilience, preparation, and the national determination to rebuild stronger than before. The countdown is described as real, the systems are said to be ready, and the anticipation is palpable. For years, people have asked, when will it happen? Now, the better question might be, are you ready when it does? As the clock ticks down on this reported window, one thing is clear. History does not always announce itself with fanfare and ceremony. Sometimes it moves quietly behind closed doors, through lines of computer code and across flickering data screens, until suddenly the world realizes that everything has changed. The Central Bank of Iraq appears to be standing on that very threshold. Right now, the systems are reportedly sensed, the data is ready, and the next button pressed could mark the beginning of a new era for Iraq and for the global financial community. Stay alert and stay informed.